Well, we set up the Ealing Learning Partnership in response to the removal of the schools grant in 2016 to the local authorities. And we wanted to put together something where schools had a safety net, where we could work together. And we established a partnership from our head teachers conference with some core values. The first one is partnership with Ealing to solve the problems of Ealing children altogether. The second one is partnership between schools. There's a great wealth of skill and knowledge in our Ealing schools, and working together means that we can share that, and it's much more economical. And that is so that no school is left behind, and most importantly, no child is left behind.
And I think it's really important to think back to 2016, when a lot of the funding for central services and support to schools disappeared overnight. And that would have left the council with a very small amount of funding, and that would have been concentrated entirely on really schools that were struggling, and there would have been very little capacity to build the kind of partnership and networks that we wanted to do for all schools. So I think what ELP does, and supported and subsidised by the council, is provide a whole raft of additional opportunities for professional development, for leadership networking, and an opportunity for leaders at all levels in schools to look above the parapet and work with professionals serving very different pockets of the borough, very different areas of the borough, and it just helps to elevate that level of professional leadership that we want to see.
But the development of the Ealing Learning Partnership has meant that there are real opportunities for us to be part of more of the decision making, more of the policy guidance, more of the stuff that's going to impact us, and rather than it being potentially given to us, we're able to co-produce it, which is really, really important for me.
So the focus of not leaving any child behind, it's not just a lovely line, it is really what they try to do. So all the commissions and all the different committees, it's all based around not leaving a single child behind.
I think that we achieve more together and overcome many of our barriers by working together and being part of a partnership.
So we've all faced some really challenging times recently and continue to face those challenging times, with COVID still looming around us and affecting all of our schools and the ways we work. But during that lockdown period, I think the relationship between the council and the ELP committee was really, really positive, very clear. And what those two groups did, although they always worked together in the background, they provided real leadership and direction and support for school.
The children in Ealing schools are Ealing Council's children. We're working with the most vulnerable all together, and that their problems are schools' problems and Ealing Council's problems often. If we can work in partnership together, then we get better solutions. Secondly, working in partnership with other schools means you share ideas, you learn from each other. It's nothing like standing on the shoulders of giants. We could make each school in Ealing so much better just from that knowledge of everybody else and sharing that together.
So we have tried really hard over the past 3 years to build a real connection between nursery schools, primary schools, high schools, special schools. So all of that work in terms of professionals being a real partnership and having a direct voice through the board, through clusters, through network and leadership opportunities is a real incentive for people who are considering joining.
I wanted to join the Ealing Learning Partnership because I think it's really good value for money. The information that you get and the groups that you can join, the networks and the support you get is excellent.
What we mustn't lose is the wonderful professional collaborations that we've had, both with ourselves in Ealing and also between schools, and how we can foster those, improve those, and mean that we have even more impact on schools and on the outcomes for children is where we need to go.
There is going to be a need to really focus on some of the deepening inequalities that will inevitably come about.
The aspiration of the ELT board is that no learner is left behind and that no school is left behind. And I think in the national pandemic in which we've just gone through, I think this strapline is even more important than ever. We need to make sure that children have that opportunity to catch up, and we're able to support schools so that all children have that opportunity. We need to make sure children are kept safe, and through the 6 committees on the board, then I think we need to realign our priorities to make sure that our partnership is working to ensure that no learner is left behind.
The heads work together so effectively, heads from very diverse backgrounds, from very different contexts, sharing ideas, sharing best practice, and with that understanding and shared vision that we will all grow together.
That's what the partnership stands for, is a collection of professionals and settings that have got high ambition and want to make the best out of what we've got. And I think that anybody that would be thinking about the partnership should really look at what, I suppose what the evidence says is, you know, schools are great in Ealing and continue to work to improve.
I think what I would want to say to schools that have supported ELP over the last 2 years is that, you know, ELP is theirs, it belongs to them. They shaped the vision back in 2017-18. They've bought into the values and the mission statement, no learner left behind, no school left behind, and I would want to thank them for making that a reality, because without their direct contribution and the extra time that many of our school leaders give, ELP simply wouldn't exist.